Welcome to the Bring Two Controllers podcast. My name is Alex, and I'm joined by Dave. As always, Dave, how the heck are you doing?
Oh, living the dream, sitting here talking with my BFF.
We can't go through this every single episode.
Well, you know what? You brought that up, so I was happy just to leave you as BFF.
That's right.
But yeah, things are good. I finally built a new PC. I just had it finished the other day. I almost broke into tears a few times. It took me like 7 or 8 hours with like help. But it's all done, so hopefully no more crashing. I can like upload things properly now. I can help with editing, all these kinds of things.
So you put it together with a friend.
I did it all at home, and I streamed over Discord, like with my webcam. I just had it like pointed down to the desk, and then I had like various friends who have helped or who have built
That sounds
PCs.
incredibly difficult and frustrating.
It was like, so it's advertised as, oh, it's like Lego now. It's not that hard, but it's like, yeah, okay, if Lego had like specific pieces that if you didn't put them together, they would explode.
Yeah, and like, you've got to put
it's like
this
$3,000 worth of Lego.
Right, and you have to put this like paste on for like certain things, like the thermal paste on your CPU or whatever it is.
Luckily I had this part that came with paste on it, but then if you put it on wrong the first time, you would have had to wipe it all off clean, and then I would have had to order paste to redo it. So it was like actually quite stressful, because actually I almost put it on like upside down, like sideways.
Yeah,
and then my buddy was like, "Wait, are you sure?" And then actually I had screwed something in like sideways, and like the whole process I had to redo like multiple things. I got fans on backwards, all this random stuff on backwards, but it's running now. It's quite beautiful. Maybe I can actually look at this beauty. I don't know if you guys can see.
Whoa, yeah, it looks good.
Lots of lights. Don't mind the cable management for now.
Yeah, so I actually built my PC as well, but I built it in person with my friend, and that was stressful. Like, there was a point of the build where he was just kind of like, okay, I guess you can leave it here for the night, or like bring it home and we'll have to sort it out later. And then we got it working, but I ended up having a faulty power supply, and I had to order a new one. And I also put new paste on my chip or whatever it is, but I actually installed the new power supply myself, and that was pretty nerve wracking. So I honestly, like, having gone through both processes, I could not do it by myself.
Yeah,
like I will pay someone to build it the next time I do this.
Well, 100%. I think also I didn't have the option of stopping because I did it all in my room, and I had all like the boxes on my bed. So I had to get it done. There was like no alternative. Even if it took me 20 hours straight, I had to get it done. But for sure. And I think it only costs like $50 to $100 to have to pay someone to do it for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point in my life,
it's not crazy. Okay, so I mean, that's pretty exciting though. You're going to have some capabilities in terms of editing. And that was something when I got my PC from upgrading from my gaming laptop, my editing process sped up so much, the exporting, the lack of crashing in DaVinci Resolve, like, oh my God, it was crazy. It was a total night and day
video
difference.
Processing is probably like way faster too.
Yes, but literally everything improved. Everything improved. It was fantastic. So congratulations.
Thank you. Anything new on your end? I know you bought a new toy.
Well, that's true. I guess I did one thing. So I bought I don't know if I can pull it out this far, but I can. Okay. So I bought a Stream Deck.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah, I bought a Stream Deck. Okay, and it's awesome. You can see I haven't even programmed all the buttons yet, but it's really cool. I'm very much enjoying it, and I am just scratching the surface in terms of the features of it. So I'm gonna hopefully have cool things coming up with that.
Nice.
To be able to share on my videos and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, that's kind of it for me. And then otherwise, it's busy season, right? Like, I'm coaching wrestling 4 to 5 times a day, or a week, and I barely have time to game right now. But on the horizon, I'll be catching up on stuff. So
nice. I guess we can just jump in to some gaming like news, I guess, or releases.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Segment. So it's been a little bit dry to start the month off. In the last week or so, really the only things that have come out is a next gen version of DBZ Kakarot, which is that kind of JRPG um, DBZ game that came out 2 years ago, I think, in 2020.
Hmm.
Decent reviews. If you feel like redoing like the whole Dragon Ball saga, I don't know if you have too much of an opinion on that one.
No, I mean, I've always been curious about those games just because I used to really love buying Dragon Ball and Naruto games, but I don't know. Once you've played the same story so many times, I mean, I'm
That's the
not too.
thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It is like retreading the same ground over and over again.
I think I'd be more likely to just do another rewatch of Kai.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
So,
fair. Then there wasn't much too else. There's this game called Gatewalkers, which looks kind of cool. It's like a ARPG, so like Diablo style kind of co-op game. But it's got some mixed reviews. And then finally today, just actually like 2 hours ago, released the new One Piece JRPG, One Piece Odyssey.
yes. Yeah.
I've been kind of like an hour or so into that one. I'm actually planning to do a review of it, but so far it's pretty fun. Um, like graphics are cool, and I don't know anything about One Piece other than they're just like pirates and it's very anime. It's like the most
That's
popular
going to be
show.
kind of like an interesting review because I think a lot of people are going to review it and go on and on about the anime and references to the anime and whatever else it is. But you're just going to be like, hey, can like that could even be the title. It's just, can non One Piece fans enjoy
Yeah,
this game?
yeah. So I'll chug through that and see how it goes. And
Yeah.
then coming out in the next week, we have three re-releases that are all coming to various consoles and to Game Pass. We've got Persona 3 Portable, which was a PSP game, I believe, originally, and that's coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Then they're doing Persona 4 Gold on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox as well. I'm not sure if that one's coming to Switch or not. And then they're doing a PlayStation and Xbox re-release of Monster Hunter Rise, which was that one that came out on PC and Switch,
Right. Yeah.
which was like the more kind of like cartoony Japanese aesthetic that was also pretty popular. And then right at the end of next week, we're getting the new Fire Emblem Engage,
Right. Yeah.
which
Okay.
is looking
With the
pretty cool
crazy red and blue hair.
with the crazy red and blue hair. And I guess they're going to be, I don't know too much about it yet, but I think there's like a lot of cameos from previous characters, so I don't know actually where they're going with the story for that one. um but I'll probably check it out. I don't know if it'll be a day one buy for me because I just
Hmm.
bought this.
Yeah, and you just got One Piece as well, so
Yeah,
you've
that's
got
what I
lots
mean.
of
i
stuff
just
on the
got
go.
i just
Plus,
got that.
plus your
Busy
Steam
man.
Deck. I have the stream. You have the Steam.
Yeah. Well, maybe why
There,
don't we combine it and have a very steamy stream? Hmm?
yes, there we go. Yeah, it's good. It's a good idea.
All right.
So there's a couple things I tabbed for us to talk about. The first one being that there was that comment from Naoki Yoshida about Final Fantasy
Oh,
16, and he said, like I don't know what people are saying about this PC port, like who said that, and everyone's like you did.
yeah,
But the thing is that they've entered this non-disclosure whatever agree or no, not non-disclosure, this exclusivity agreement
yeah.
with Sony, so they can't actively talk about it.
They
they
definitely can't
they
advertise it that way. Yeah.
and I think this is like the most important exclusivity agreement of all time for Final Fantasy, or for Sony in particular, because man, I think they need to sell some PS5s, and they want to, like, for example, like literally the only reason I would possibly get a PlayStation 5 is to play Final Fantasy 16,
Yeah.
and I'm still not even considering doing it. So, or I'm like I'm not strongly considering doing it. So like I
Yeah.
really don't feel like I want to get a PlayStation 5, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of what people are feeling, and Sony's also feeling it because they've made it's so hard to get, right?
Yeah, I did actually see them when I was walking around Best Buy around Christmas time. They actually had some in
Oh,
stock, like
cool.
standing there. I was kind of shocked, but this was after our like previous podcast episode where we both kind of talked about how now that they've kind of confirmed that it's coming to PC within 6 months, um, I was kind of turned off by it as well. And also, if you kind of read the quote, the way he kind of says it, he's like, I don't know, buy a PS5, and then he like laughs. He's like, "Oh, did I go too far?"
Yeah.
Because and another thing I'll say with Square is they definitely like people who double dip. For example, FF7 remake. I know that's like not the most always beloved game, but I bought that on PS4, and then I ended up buying it on PC because I always wanted, even when I was playing it on PS4, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this to come out on PC because it's just going to look better, run better,
Yeah.
be more smooth, and all this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
well, I can't wait
And
to see what it looks like on your new computer.
oh, it looks so I can actually run it at 4K, max settings at like 80 frames per second, and it's
Oh,
quite nice.
it's pretty
Honestly,
good.
my eyes can't even tell the difference between 2K and 4K, but I'm still doing it.
That's amazing. So yeah, I
But
mean, I think it's pretty much a non-story, really. But
yeah,
yeah,
I think he's like semi trolling. I think for sure it's going to come out at some point next year on PC. I still don't think it'll ever come out on Xbox. I think Xbox is just like
yeah. I
hooked
mean,
with like the
who,
big FF games.
I don't even know like who owns an Xbox.
I
My
mean, I
brother
don't.
owns an Xbox fridge.
Yeah, that was pretty cool purchase actually. Fun little Christmas gift.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I wanted to bring up is this whole D&D thing. So have
Oh, the
you heard
OGL.
all about the license that they're? Oh, I guess we kind of talked. We played D&D last night. We might have brought it
Yeah.
up at the table. But basically, for those of people that don't know, is that D&D had this open license where people could create third-party content for D&D, and they could use the logo, and they can use material and the rule set and all that stuff. And Hasbro, which owns Wizards of the Coast, which makes D&D, they really want to make more money. So what they've done is there's been some leaks about a new open license that's going to be a lot more strict, and it's going to mean that people will have to pay royalties to do third-party content, and that's really going to cut into their business. And the other thing is it's retroactive, so it's going to apply to previous products, and the whole thing's going to blow up D&D. So a lot
Yeah.
of people that make third party content like Kobold Press, for example, are going to just switch to their own gaming systems or another gaming system, and they're
Yeah.
just going to not play with D&D at this point. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting. Like I'm wondering kind of like what's going to happen to a lot of, popular D&D shows. Are they, what, models or sorry, game systems are they going to use? Are they going to switch to? Like, I don't think that the open license affects like podcasts or anything. I think it's like the people making products, but still, it's
So
a
I
very
think
interesting
podcasts
discussion.
might be affected. I could be wrong, but I think if you do any kind of like D&D style content other than I guess review, like things that are non like copyright binding, I forget the term. I think they said that if you make over 750,000, you will have to pay royalties.
Mm.
So, for example, Critical Role, their podcast, because they're so large, I'm assuming they make over 750.
But
They'll
how would they
actually.
even be known to like use D&D stuff? Right? Because like the lingo all sounds the same from all these different systems. Like,
So there are a few things. So from what I've read is the actual game mechanics cannot be copyrighted. So if you make an exact replica of D&D but just rename everything, but just keep just the rules, that actually is fair play. There's a lot of things like different races and characters, world building stuff that is exclusive to Dungeons and Dragons.
right, yeah.
Um, that for example, I think halflings are exclusive to D&D, so they're going to have to come up with I don't know
Hmm.
specifically of that specific race, but like things like that. um
And just
so
like if they base something in the Forgotten Realms or whatever it is, like
yeah,
there's going to be
so
some.
actually I don't know, I'm sure you've heard of Pathfinder, but
Yes.
Pathfinder the first edition was actually like a direct spin-off of D&D 3.5 edition. But when they recently, I think 2 years ago, made second edition, they actually completely moved away from the D&D license and made up all of their own stuff, so that they're actually now free from this. So, and Paizo seems like a lot less. I mean, every big company is money grubbing, but I feel
Yeah.
like this is a good opportunity for Paizo, which is the Pathfinder company, to kind of step up, create their own or promote their own open license to maybe try and steal uh, like players, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's the next biggest kind of tabletop RPG that's like fully fleshed out. There's other smaller ones, like lots
Hmm.
of good ones, but they're very small. I think Warhammer has one that's like not too bad, but it's also like very like teeny tiny. I think Pathfinder is like the next biggest one, and they love extra content. Actually, Paizo started off as a content creation company for D&D, and then they veered off after fourth edition. Like they changed a few things. So I feel like that might be the direction that the industry goes. My biggest gripe actually isn't so much like the royalty aspect, but they're actually going to be claiming ownership over the products as well. So if you make like a D&D dungeon and
Right.
sell it on DM's Guild, you're actually giving up the rights to like the ownership of that, which to me is
Yeah, and that's
kind
insane.
of shady to me. That's kind of
Yeah.
like what Blizzard did with Warcraft 3 Reforged, because they didn't want to have another Dota situation. Because in the
Hmm.
original license in Warcraft 3, Dota was owned by the people who made the Dota game within the game engine in the map creator. But now, if they were to make Dota now, like if Dota didn't exist but they created it in Warcraft 3 Reforged, Blizzard would actually own it, own the whole license, all the assets, all the character names, everything. So it's like to me that's very scummy, that's very dirty, and I don't like it. Don't support that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's very reasonable, take, and I think this is a topic that you're going to hear us talk about again in the
If we love
future when we
D&D.
get more information, right? So,
RPG lovers.
okay,
Um,
so should we get on to our main topic of the day then?
yeah, sure, let's do it. So we were gonna kind of skim over our Steam wish lists. It's the start of the year. Not technically the first podcast of the year because of our last little technical hiccup, but
Yes,
for
yeah.
all intents and purposes, it's our first podcast of the year. So we thought, what better way than to think about what games we want for the rest of the year?
Right, exactly. And I've listed I have 22 written down. We're not going to probably go through all of them, I think, but maybe
Yeah,
we'll mention the names. But and you said you had
I
30.
have 30. I kind of deleted a few after we talked.
Okay, you have 30 games. That's a
Yeah,
lot of games. I
yeah.
wonder how many crossovers there are.
I wonder, watch there be zero? Watch
Well,
there
you've
be
played
none?
more games than me, so I bet you know what though, I know for a fact you've played a bunch of the games that are on my list.
Okay, I can tell you
So
if they're worth.
if they're worth it or not, yeah,
Yeah.
or if they're just trash.
All right, do you want to just go back and forth, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So I got a bunch of categories. So I'm gonna take one.
Oh,
I'm gonna take one out of. Actually, you know what? This is a perfect segue here. So I have a D&D like category,
oh, okay,
and that's. I'll just say them all because you know like Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2,
okay,
Celasta Crown of the Magister, and then
okay.
Divinity Original Sin 2. Because I already own
Oh,
Divinity 1,
okay,
so all of those are on my wish list. Celasta I played on the open beta that they did. It was really fun,
okay.
and Pillars looks amazing as well. But which one of those have you played?
I have played all but Celesta. If I know you already have a lot of games. Another one that's very similar, that I recommend adding to the list as well once it goes on sale, is the new Pathfinder game that came out a year ago, Wrath of the Righteous.
Okay,
Um,
because they had another one that was like King's Bane
Kingmaker
or
is really good
Kingmaker.
too.
I heard mixed reviews of it.
Yeah, the issue is like, well, I could go off like for a full game review about that, but I will say if you could only pick between the two, I would say the newest one is a lot better. Like the story is more concise, a lot more epic,
Hmm.
more cohesive. The combat's a lot better now too. They've added a both Pillars of Eternity 2 and this Pathfinder 2 added like a turn-based combat mode. So you can actually do either the old school way, which is like paused combat, where you just kind of send them and it's kind of like FF11, you can kind of say, or you can make it so it's like turn-based, like a regular like tabletop D&D style,
Hmm.
or like Divinity,
Yeah,
how it's like that. Out of all the ones that you mentioned, I would say probably Divinity 2 is the best. I would say,
that's
and I think
cool.
it's usually about the cheapest. And then next up, I would say either Wrath of the Righteous or Pillars 2.
I can tell you right now that actually Pillars 1 and 2 are cheaper than Divinity 2. So
Oh no
I
way!
wrote down all the prices for my games.
Oh shoot! Okay,
And I own Divinity 1 and I bought it purposely because I thought, oh, if Divinity 2 is so good, if I play it first, I'm not going to want to go back and play Divinity 1. So
right.
I told myself I will beat Divinity 1, then I'll go buy Divinity 2. But all these games are games I eventually want to work my way through. But,
Yeah.
you got to find the time.
I actually had Divinity 2 on my Switch, and it was pretty good as like kind of pick up and go game, and I think it took me about 60 hours or so,
Okay.
in that kind of 60-hour range. But it was mostly like pretty quality, like start to finish, and you know, it's good. I really like it.
Awesome. Okay, so what about your list? Let's go. Let's pick one off your list.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing then, and I'm gonna have strategy, I guess RPGs you could call it,
Oh, okay.
like turn-based strategy games.
Yeah.
And so I've got here King Arthur, Knight's Tale. I have Lost Eidolons. I have Triangle Strategy, and then I have Symphony of War.
Oh, Symphony of War is on mine too.
You
Yeah.
you mentioned it last time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm very
so
curious. So which one are you most interested in?
so it's kind of funny because you've been kind of hyping up Triangle Strategy to me. And then your brother also says it's very good, and all the reviews are quite good. The only issue I have that it's $80, and I don't feel like kind of spending the $80.
Yeah.
Um, then the next one on my list as well is Lost Eidolons. That one's the one that's kind of like a more realistic, gritty Fire Emblem game. It just came out last year as well. That one's for $40. I'm gonna wait for that one on sale. But apparently it's also quite good. And then Symphony of War, I'm kind of like so on, um, but I might eventually get to it. And then King Arthur Knight's Tale, that one I'm also waiting for on sale. So if I had to pick only one, I would probably go with Triangle Strategy. But
Yeah.
I'm
And
waiting for
so
that
I'm
to be
actually
like 40, 50
looking.
bucks.
I just looked up the King Arthur and the Lost Eidolons, and uh, I think Lost Eidolons is the one that looks really cool.
Yeah, Lost Eidolons
Like
looks really awesome.
they all look good, but yeah, this one is more like Fire Emblem, but it's less. It's not anime. It's like Total
That's
War Fire Emblem.
kinda, yeah, exactly.
Like that's the aesthetic that I would go for. This looks awesome. I'm wish listing it right now live. There we go. Okay, it's on the wish list.
You did it live, nice.
Yeah. So, and then Symphony of War is the cheapest of all those ones, and you get the
Yeah,
retro aesthetic if you're really into that. So
yeah.
that's something to consider. But I'm going to go into the same category because I also have
Okay.
a tactical RPG category, and I had Children of the Zodiacs, Fell Seal, Arbiter's Mark, and then Symphony of the War.
I
Now,
haven't heard of any of those.
so Fell Seal, I bet you've seen it. It's the one that like it gets ads a lot, and they say it's like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it does look like it from like if you see a really small screenshot, you're like, whoa, it looks like
Oh yeah,
Tactics, and then
totally.
you click into it, and you're like, okay, no, this is like very different art. But my friend played it and said really enjoyed it, liked the music, so that's good enough for me. That's a good recommendation. And then Children of the Zodiacs is one that looks a lot more like an indie game. Um, take that as you will. But what's really cool about it is that it's a tactical game that has deck building elements, and it also has dice rolling for damage. So when you hit your opponent, it says like you're going to do 14 to 21 damage, and then dice roll on the screen, and you
That's
hear
fun.
that lovely dice rolling sound that's so satisfying, and then you see how much damage you got. So that looks pretty cool to me.
I like the art style. It's kind of got like a almost like Riot Games looking art style.
Mm.
Nice. Okay, that one I might actually add to my list too.
Yeah,
There,
there we go. Okay, we're growing our lists. So what about
growing.
you?
That's the
What do you
last
got?
thing I needed, man.
Yeah.
So I guess my next one is gonna be JRPGs. So I've got these ones. I'm like, they've been on my list for like years, always waiting to go on sale. So FF13. I played that one on I think PS3 or 360. I didn't finish it because I got bored, but I kind of have like a bucket list now where I want to finish all the FFs, at least the mainline ones. And I know you really liked the trilogy,
I like
um,
the 2 and 3. I didn't like one as much,
but it's
but
hard to.
I liked one for the first while. But yeah,
Yeah, but I figure I can't really jump into the second one without playing the first one.
yes, that's true. You do need to play them all in order.
So I have that. I don't know if it counts really as a JRPG. It's more like a J adventure game, but it's Okami.
Oh yeah, I know that
That's
one.
the kind of like Zelda
Wonderfully
like
beautiful soundtrack.
where yeah, and you play as like a Shiba, like magical Shiba. And then I have FF12. I never actually finished that one, but
Oh my god.
get this: base price for this is $66, and when it's on sale, it goes down to $40. and it's like
Yeah,
a
it's
20
expensive.
year old game. So I feel like that's going to be
But
on my bucket list for the rest of my life.
it is a remaster that's
It is a
they've,
remaster,
yeah.
but still 4 years old if you count it from there. Then this one is technically a fighting game, but it has like a JRPG co-op mode, which is the main reason I want to get it, and that's Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
made by Arc System Works, who did like the Dragon Ball Fighters and Guilty Gear and stuff like that. But it's got like a two-player co-op, like JRPG adventure, like a side-scrolling one with like fighting game mechanics, which I feel like that would be like a very fun co-op style game. Then I have it's not released yet. It's on coming soon, but I feel like it's probably on your list too. It's Sea of Stars. It's like that
Oh
Chrono Trigger
yeah.
looking game.
It's not on my list, but it should be. I follow them on Twitter, and I'm
Okay.
always super interested in it.
And then lastly, I've got Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is like the Pokemon JRPG style Monster Hunter game. Came out last year,
Oh
2 years ago
yeah, I
technically
played
now.
the first one on mobile. It was very fun.
Was very fun. Okay, nice.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Cool.
And
Yeah,
that's the
there's a lot of
list.
good games on there. I wonder how many, if people listen to this, if how many recommendations we'll get too from them as well. That'll be
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So I also have JRPGs, and
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about I'll just list them real quick. But I've got Atelier Ryza 1.
Oh,
I've got
nice.
Ni no Kuni 2, which is always full price and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Astria Ascending,
Oh,
which is a game that has a bunch of Final Fantasy people involved in it, Final Fantasy 12 people. So the music's good, the art looks really good. The game has really mixed reviews though, so I'm kind of iffy on it. I might just wait for it to be on sale. And then this is one that I'm very interested in. Have you heard of the Legends of the Heroes games?
I have. So I follow some YouTubers that like really like them. I've never actually
Yeah.
played them myself though.
The music's really great from them. I've heard it online. But I actually played one. I can't even remember which one it was, but I played it on, I think, the Vita. Like I had it on the
Okay.
Vita, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then it was just kind of random. I never got another one of them. But then I saw like that one had very much like PlayStation graphics, PlayStation 1,
Right.
2. Like, but the new ones are the new ones look beautiful. Like they
They
look
look great.
absolutely amazing. So I definitely want to check those out. There's so many games. The same thing with the Atelier series. Like there's so many
There's a
games
ton, yeah.
to check out. But I've heard those are quite grindy. So I think starting with Ryza is probably the best way to
I
go.
heard that one's actually pretty good too. Like
Yes. Yeah.
it's
I've
like a
heard really good
quality
things about
game.
it. Yeah. People like to talk about the main character because she's so talented, but I'm just playing for the story. So just saying.
I will say the new One Piece game has a lot of talent.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I saw some screenshots on Twitter and I was like, oh boy, what are those doing?
No wonder
Just
it's
free
the most
roaming.
popular and the most popular anime.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, why don't you start us off with another category?
So I guess I could do strategy games. So I've got Knights of Honor 2, Warhammer Total War 3, and what's it called? Manor Lords. Um, so Knights of Honor 2 apparently is basically just like a reskin of Knights of Honor 1. They haven't like innovated very much, but I love Knights of
Mm,
Honor 1, so I'll eventually get it once it's cheap. And then Warhammer 3, I have it on Game Pass, but there's a game mode called what's it called? Immortal Empires, which they started that with the second one, and it's basically like an open campaign that combines Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2. And then the third one makes it so it combines 1, 2, and 3. So you have this like giant world. It's supposed to be super fun. But if you have the Game Pass version and the rest of the games you own on Steam, it doesn't like carry over.
mm,
But yeah, but it's $80. I'm not going to pay $80 just for like one campaign mode
no,
of like 80% is the same.
we just can't do it.
Just can't do it.
Can't be done.
Can't be
Yeah.
done.
No,
And
I don't
then
have any games like that on mine, to be honest.
yeah,
So I don't know what I'm going to have to follow up with here. It's going to be
not too bad.
difficult.
And then Manor Lords, I just have it on. It's not even released yet. It's still coming soon, but it's just like a medieval city building sim. Um, Just kind of a chill game. You just build a little town. I like those.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I'll have to check that out. I'm gonna have to, when I edit this, I'm gonna have to like go through all the games you've said, and and then I'll end up wish listing them, of course. So
Nice.
yeah.
So what I'm here for is to make everybody waste all of their hard-earned money on video games.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the category that I think you've played all these games that I've listed here. So
Okay.
this is the action RPG kind of category.
Okay.
So Middle Earth, Shadow of War, Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen,
Okay.
Neo, and this one I've played along. I played the original back in the day, Skyrim, but the special edition.
Okay, nice.
Just you got to have it, right?
It's a solid list.
So have you played all of those?
So list them. I think I've played all the ones you mentioned. List them off again. So
Middle Earth.
yeah, I played the second one only. I haven't actually played the first one.
Okay, and then Dragon's Dogma.
I've played Dragon's Dogma. Dragon Dogma is quite good.
Neo.
I played the first one. Haven't played the second one.
Okay, and then the final one was Skyrim, which you have played.
Skyrim. Wait, what is that?
I mean,
indie game? Is that some
you introduced me to the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah. Well, we
Like
we experienced it almost together for the first time when I got Morrowind on my original Xbox.
yeah,
Do you
there
remember?
were some very fun days exploring.
Do you remember the
running
first one?
into-
I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I thought there was like a huge enemy, so I went to go like sneak up on it, and then it just turned out it was just a bush. You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. I remember lots of like miscommunications and misadventures with that all involved you not wearing your glasses.
Yeah.
Which is like straight out of a 90s after school cartoon. Like, oh, Dave lost his glasses. And he's like, you're all like on the ground, like, guys, I can't find my glasses.
And they
Yeah.
actually added to Skyrim last year. They for like the anniversary, they added fishing, so you can fish now.
Oh, there you go. That was sorely missed.
Sorely missed. Game is finally complete.
Yeah, there's nothing left to add. They
So
should
you're
just
waiting
shut down
for
the
one of those to go
studio.
on sale, or do you have one that you would pick first?
I think Dragon's Dogma is the one I'm most interested in because of the setting. And also Jack, my brother, has spoken very highly of it as well because he played it back when it came out on.
Oh, nice.
What did it come out on? The Xbox or Xbox 360?
It came out on
360, right?
360.
Yeah,
360, and I'm
360.
assuming PS3, but can't confirm.
It all blends together at a certain point.
Once you're super old like us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's my action RPG category. Do you have any of those types of games in yours?
I have, I guess, three-ish. So I have this game called Achilles Legends Untold. Doesn't look amazing, but it's kind of like a Dark Souls-y game based on like Greek mythology. It's like an indie game, so it's kind of small. But I like Greek mythology and stuff like that. So
Oh, I see now.
And
Oh,
it's
it's
in early
like
access
it's isometric though.
yeah, it's isometric, so it's kind of like somewhere in between like Diablo and like a Souls game because you still like roll around
Yeah, I
and
see.
stuff like that.
It does look good though.
Yeah. So another one I have is the Ninja Gaiden Masters Collection.
Mm.
But that one I'm just waiting for it to come on sale. I do have all three of the games like as they released like on original Xbox and then 360, which are like the best versions. But unfortunately, those can't be played portably. Then I have Forspoken, which comes out in a couple weeks, but that one I don't think will be a day one buy for me.
Yeah. I've heard very mixed reviews
Yeah,
after the
I
gameplay demo
didn't-
came out.
Yeah, I didn't get into the demo, but watching it didn't have me inspired. And I'm just looking on the wish list. In Canadian, the game is $94.
Oh,
So
it's too much.
How do the kids say these? You can miss me with that.
Pardon?
Miss me with that.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what
okay.
they say, right?
Never. I'm not familiar with
Oh,
that.
really? I thought that was a thing.
No.
And then actually one that I played, they had like an early access, like weekend beta. I played it with a couple friends. It's called Dark and Darker. This one's really cool. So that one's like, it's first person, but it's a dungeon crawler. It's kind of like those games. Like, have you heard of Tarkov? Or that kind of concept where you go in to a dungeon. You have like a time limit before you can escape. You try and loot. There's other parties that are also in the dungeon, like kind of in different areas that spawn in with you. and then your goal is to try and loot, survive, and escape. Your level carries over, but if you die and your ally doesn't pick up your stuff, you lose all your stuff. But it's all like Dungeons and Dragons based, so it's got like Dungeons and Dragons classes. It actually has the Dungeons and Dragons skill tree, and it's really fun. I had a really good time with.
I'm
my
adding
friend.
it to my wish list.
It's very
This sounds
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
An unforgiving hardcore fantasy FPS dungeon PvP VE adventure. Band together with your friends and use your courage, wits, and cunning to uncover mythical treasures, defeat gruesome monsters while staying one step ahead of the other devious treasure hunters.
yeah,
So I think this would be a really fun game to like stream too.
yeah. It'd be very fun. And there's like traps and treasures, mimics, zombie skeletons, like all this kind of just like as if you were in a regular D&D kind of dungeon.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we got to check this out. I'm super
That
interested.
one is the one I'm most excited for. Apparently, it's coming out like end of next year or end of this year.
Okay, yeah, they did some sort of beta test, it says, but you know,
Yeah, that's the one I was mentioning.
mm-hmm.
Oh, and then Sonic Frontiers. I guess that counts as kind of an action.
Yeah,
Game.
there you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Shall I move on?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I've got another category, and I called it it's just a mix of categories at this point. So platformer slash adventure slash like action adventure. And so on this this list, I've got games like Tunic, which is that little fox that everyone's like, oh, it's Zelda, but it looks like it's so much more than Zelda.
Yeah.
Hob, which is like your little it's the Torchlight people, and you're a little mechanical guy, and there's no text or story in it. You just explore the world and you figure it out and you do stuff.
This game. Yeah. Oh, cool.
I've got Moonlighter, which is like an action RPG with roguelite stuff, and you run a shop, but you also go into these dungeons that are generated and all sorts of stuff. And then the final one is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the spiritual successor to Castlevania games.
Nice.
Yeah,
I heard that one's really good, and I think they made a sequel for it too. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I guess I'm just really. I've always like. Whenever there's one game, like and then they make another one, I don't even look at it. Like, cause I know we already know there's going to be a third of Telluride, but like I'm not even wishlisting the second game until I play the first one.
That's fair. You have more, what's it called? Like diligence than I do.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. Like, I don't know when I'm going to get through all these games.
Yeah. It's a grind, man. Okay. So my kind of like random category as well. So one of them, I just added it yesterday because I was watching like YouTube at like 1 a.m. And it's Duke Nukem.
Oh my God.
Duke Nukem Forever. I don't know why I even want this, but like I'm feeling like kind of like an itch for that kind of 90s, like over the top, like bravado. Just like one-liners and stuff like that.
I have a student that's super into that, and like, but also games like Doom and Wolfenstein and like just that kind of like kick-ass,
That's cool, man. It's a dying genre, and
Slayer type game. Yeah,
I don't think it deserves to die. It's just like kind of like not in the cultural zeitgeist these days. It's not like what people are going for. We're more for like that kind of very like more like grounded realism, like lots of empathy and stuff like that. That's kind of like where our genres are kind of heading these days. Okay, and then I have this game.
I have to be empathetic all day at work. I don't want to.
You don't want to do it. You want to blow stuff up when you get home.
Yeah.
Then next up, I have this game. I can't believe it. It's called I Am Jesus Christ, and and it looks like it's like this indie game. It looks terrible, but also amazing at the same time. You just kind of like it's like an action, first person, not even like really RPG. And you just play as Jesus, and you fight like Satan. You solve puzzles. You cause miracles. Apparently, the story is like super over the top. But there's like a early access version you can play, I think, for free. It's like the prologue, and apparently it is like kind of jank, but apparently also just like amazing, like worth experiencing like once in your life. And I'm all for that.
Okay, I gotta read the description. It says, walk in the footsteps of Jesus in this incredible first-person retelling of the story of Christ from birth to resurrection. So we know exactly what's happening here. And the last line of the description is, become the Messiah in I Am Jesus Christ.
And we went to
That's
catechism, so we can vouch if it's accurate or not.
I already know the full plot of this game.
You know the
Just
full
saying.
plot, so we'll see how accurate they are to the manga.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my god.
then I have this other one called Song of Iron. It was released a year and a half ago. It's like a side-scrolling platform action game set in like a Viking times. It looks pretty fun, pretty gritty, a little bit Soulsy, but just like 2D. Almost like a Metroidvania, I would say, but I think
Oh,
more
cool.
linear. I think it's more linear. And then I have, I guess, just one really more game to add, and then that is called Warhammer 40k Shoota's Blood and Teeth, which is like a side scroll, almost like. Do you remember that game called? Oh my god, Broforce?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a
It's
good
like
game.
Broforce, but you play as Warhammer 40k orcs, and they're just like always like up to no good. You're just blowing stuff up, killing stuff,
That sounds
super
awesome.
over the top. Yeah, and it's got
Mm.
co-op, which is the main reason why I'm
Yeah, that's huge.
I'm
You
I'm
got to
more
have co-op.
interested in.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty much through my list as well. I have an others category, and the only thing is that I talked already about this first game, Core Keepers, in one of our previous podcasts. So I won't go into that right now. But then I have Dragon Quest Builders 2,
Oh,
which
nice.
is always pretty expensive, and then 8-Bit Hordes, which is an RTS game. And you never see like new art. Is it not that this game is new anymore? But when I saw it originally, it was new, and it's like, hey, there's
Okay.
a new take on an RTS game, and it's 8-bit, 3D 8-bit, I guess, and it
Oh,
looks really cute. It's got good reviews, and I think I'd like to try it.
yeah. It
And it's
looks actually
it's only
pretty.
$17,
It looks pretty
so
sick, actually. And I feel like with the art style, you can get some pretty big battles and stuff. Oh yeah, the battles look pretty huge, actually. This
yeah.
looks pretty cool. Nice.
So I think I'd like to try that at some point. It's not too expensive. If it ever goes on like super sale, then that's something that I would probably pick up for like $2 or something, or $5, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
actually, speaking of which, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark, which I talked about in the turn-based strategies section, is 75% off right now. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's not bad. That's not
Yeah,
bad at all.
this is a good time to get it. So if you like Final Fantasy Tactics, this game is similar and has good reviews from my guildmate in War of the Visions.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
So we did it, Dave. We
did
did.
it.
We got through both our lists. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I guess our viewers will have noticed that we don't have a ton of time to play all these games. So if you would like to see us play all these games and talk about them, like, subscribe, tell your friends so that we can quit our day jobs and just be full-time gamers. What do you
Yeah,
think about that?
some of these games will have to stream or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to get into streaming, not War of the Visions, but just stream my backlog of games. So I'm creating, but I'm also just playing games, and I can just kind of combine the two and start to work through some games.
Yeah.
But then I also don't want to be backseat played at all.
Well, you could honestly, a lot of the streamers that I watch are like pretty good at whether or not they want like backseating or not. You can definitely put it like in the video description, like as it's running, because you mostly upload or you mostly stream through YouTube, right? So you could put in the little
Yeah.
description below, and then you could always have anytime people kind of post something, you could always be like, oh, just letting you guys know, this is how much like commentary I would like. So some people want no backseating at all. I'm kind of like, okay, if my first attempt, I don't want to have any help, but if it looks like I'm stuck, or if I'm going to leave a zone and miss like an important thing, then definitely like call it out. And some people are just like, yeah, tell me everything like as it happens.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty similar to you. I just get a little embarrassed sometimes because you know what, like you feel like everyone's watching you and you should be good at the game, but I'm not actually good at video games. Like I'll
Yeah.
just say that I'm nothing special about me. So
Well, you're a very special person. You're my special friend.
okay, so I'm your BFF and I'm your special friend, and
No,
you
not
are
friend, special friend
a friend. Okay,
with a
I'm
W.
you are a great comrade, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you.
Yeah. So I think we're going to say goodbye. This is pretty good. 44 minutes. That's a good length for a podcast.
Yeah, it's perfect length actually, and
Okay.
we're both known for our length. So,
Jesus. Dave, we almost got through it. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.
See you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.